Rogue the Savage Land, issue 2. This comic has actually continued to be thoroughly entertaining. So let's dive into it. And just like I said with the first issue, love that they're using the old school trade dressing. And then, of course, because the Comic Code Authority doesn't exist anymore, I love it says approved by the Mutant Code Authority. Just a nice little way to use up that little area. And I promise I don't enjoy this book just because of member berries. It's just a nice way to bring back how nice I don't know. It was just something about that era where they'd use that old school Marvel Comics logo. And then you put the characters that were part of the book. It was just a whole other part that just added to the excitement of this. So if y'all didn't check out the first review, make sure to pause this so you can read the previously, so you can kind of get an idea of what we are going into. The writer is Tim Seeley. Artist is Zulima Scotto Luina. Color artist is Rachel Rosenberg. Letter is VC Ariana's Maher? Sure. Cover artist is Harry Andrews. And then there's everyone else working on the book. Now let's dive into issue 2. Here Comes Home, part 2, the craziest looking thing. Now, one thing that I'm going to gripe on just a little bit. Now, as much as the art is nice, don't get me wrong, I'm going to say this. It feels a little stock from the fact that Rogue's over here basically kind of cleaning herself off, having a private moment. And it feels to me a little lifeless. Like it just looks like someone looked up female and lion or something and then just traced it from Google or whatever. I just wish that there was a little more. I guess what I'm looking for is like when we went over Earth War. Hold on. I'm looking for it. Give me a minute. Even though it may not be 100%, I just miss that human element. These newer ones, because everything's done digitally, I feel like you miss. See how in here in this book, this was 1990, you can see the dirty inking just to make it look like this is a rough neck type guy. And you don't see every single clean detail of the ship that they're working on, or the fact that these guys are, from the perspective point of view, that they're further away. So you can kind of see that they're flying, working on this thing. And it doesn't look perfect, but it just gives you this feeling. I mean, look at these dark shadows on Ripley's teammates here. Compared to now, it looks so clean. And even I kind of wish that the cover artist would have been the interior artist, because that I'm sure was done digitally as well. But I feel like that he didn't really just kind of go for poses. He's actually trying to do something anatomically correct, and it just feels more realistic to me. If you'd say in the film world, this gives me more of a feeling of verisimilitude, as where this, as nice as it looks, just for like a pose, don't get me wrong, cool. But anyway, that's my only gripe with the art. Is it feels a little lifeless, like they just took a still of something they saw online and sketched it, which is not bad if you need a point of reference. But give it your own spin. Give it some dirtiness. Make it look like you got in there like old school Jack Kirby, where he would sketch until like his hands were black from the lead. I want to feel that in comics again. So, with that said, let's dive into it. I'm sure it ain't what the ancient alien types who built this place called it, but the Savage Land is the name that stuck. And since a few weeks ago, it's been my home away from home, with home being a relative concept for the kind of place old maps label with "There be dragons." Because the Savage Land is packed full of legendary creatures, extinct beasts from bygone eras and all that. The kind that inspired myths, religions even, the kind that can be a god or a devil. Here, angels still spin across the morning sky. Here, angels still fall to earth. So we start seeing all these pterodactyls or pterosaurs, whatever they are, start falling to the ground, and Zabu and Rogue are just flying for dear life. And that's kind of a cool concept, don't get me wrong. I just love how Rogue, a request. The next time you feel the need to powder your nose, stay closer to camp and my shields. Poor fellas, they just dropped out of the sky like they didn't know which way was up no more. I read once that birds follow migration paths based on magnetic fields. You think it's the same for them, Magneto? Wouldn't you be able to tell something like that went wrong? I think that you, like Charles Xavier, who taught you, are an absolute master of distracting yourself from what needs to be done. And just straight up kills the dinosaur. But before they can actually have a conversation about it, where he says, We need to find Ka-Zar before violence finds me again. We get a and so we see these Atlanteans in the Savage Land. And I love how Rogue's like, that's Atlantean they're speaking. How do you, somebody in my head has just enough understanding to know he best put up or shut up. And she just tosses this disc that's on her back. Your powers, I thought, still gone. You have enough tussles with the Avengers, you learn a thing or two. I wish I'd picked up how the boomerang, the dang thing now. Now go! And so they're running. And then they end up into this tense standoff between the Fallen, who align themselves with Ka-Zar. And then there's the Salandas, which are kind of like this technological masters of the Savage Land who say they know no boundaries. So what's her name? Nereel here. She's saying, Salandas, you're basically intruding on our people. It says, Selenda has long respected the ways of the other tribes. We do not interfere or judge, but we are privy to science that the Fall people are not. Our environment is under assault. All evidence suggests that Magneto could be responsible. I think you're barking up the wrong tree, Beaker. The Fall people have long been grateful to the Salandans and their innovations. But if you expect our primitive ways and your far-off city of glass, then you know your soldiers are trespassing. Our mission to ensure this land's survival can know no boundaries, nor can our actions be dictated by outlanders. Soldiers of Salanda, take Magneto prisoner. Pacify all who stand in your way permanently. Now, Magneto's powers have been kind of iffy, but we get a great moment where he just tears this Atlantean tank apart. And it makes the Salandans actually flee. And that's kind of all we get there. We find out more about Zaladane and what she's trying to do with these motherlands or something like that. But you basically see this temple create lightning. So I just like this idea that the tension is coming and what's going to be happening with Zaladane and the battle with Magneto and Ka-Zar. And Rogue and Eric actually get a moment to breathe. He goes, war. That's what's begun here, Rogue. And once it has, it always spreads. Retaliation, enlistment of allies, a scramble to corner assets and territory, escalation when in revenge, atrocities are committed. And though one side may eventually triumph, the people of the Savage Land will know what I know. Once a war begins, it never truly ends. Magneto had been a prisoner in a Nazi camp. He saw countless people burn, saw his family die. It taught him to meet violence with violence, made him an enemy of the X-Men. And so I like how she says here, she says, Magneto has basically saved my butt, pulled my goose out of the fire so many times. I've asked so many things of him, and I'm not going to ask him to fight in any more of my battles. So Rogue and Zabu finally find Ka-Zar. And spoilers, if you haven't read issue 1, if you want to, pause this video, go read issue 1 and watch the review, and come back, and you're back. In issue 1, Rogue, when she first ended up in the Savage Land, she was by herself, and she saw these like zombie-esque things that just terrified her to the bone. They had taken me if they could have. Instead, they took Ka-Zar. Whatever was happening to the rest of the land, and had their stolen their water, choked their prey. So they see that they're actually choking Ka-Zar. Knowing nothing else, they think their god has abandoned them, and that a gift from the surface's champions might bring him back around. And so Rogue finds a way for a flair of the dramatics to see this god, and it terrifies everyone, enough for Rogue to save them. And as the book comes to an end, we kind of start to see an uneasy alliance between Rogue, Ka-Zar, and Magneto. And of course, the tensions with Zaladane getting ready to unleash all-out war on the Savage Lands. So other than a few nitpicks about the art, the story is relatively solid. And I love that it basically fits in. Let's see if it tells you where. This one does not tell you. Last issue, it told you, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it tells you what issues of Uncanny X-Men from the Claremont era that it squeezes in between. I don't remember presently. But if you love older school X-Men style, some relatively good art overall and some fun action, Rogue the Savage Land issue 2 is definitely up your alley. Now, announcement, guys. To celebrate all of us hitting 1,000 community members here on YouTube, I am hosting a giveaway that will end May 31st. Yeah, I had to stop and think about that. Down in the descriptions and comments and all that, I've been trying to post little blurbs so that everyone is aware, but I've been wanting to make sure that you all check it out. I'm going to be doing a couple of winners. First prize winner will be getting a giveaway of the McFarlane Toys Spawn Universe Soul Crusher. The second prize winner will receive 2 8x10 prints of their choice of my action figure photography, signed by me. So if you guys want to enter the contest, the giveaway, make sure to go check out the specifics and to just celebrate everything that we've been building over here on the channel. Now, with all that said, hope you all enjoy what you've read. If you have, please make sure to, and first and foremost, always support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comics and grab this series. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little savage bell next to subscribe. That way, as I can do more content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you on hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.